So, as of this writing, Orange Cassidy is scheduled to face Jon Moxley for the international title in one day at All Out. Not only that, but I'm fully expecting Moxley to take the belt off him. I've already got a who can challenge and potentially beat Moxley for the international title in the works. Anyway, it's amazing to think that not only was this another additional belt that was not required by AEW, but that once it was taken off of Pac and essentially put on what is essentially a comedy character, it would not be seen as credible. But yet, here we are with the international title looking like the most over title in AEW right now, and maybe even seen as the second title in AEW currently. Just look at who's challenging for the title All Out. Let's be honest, the TNT title hasn't seen this much credibility since Cody. The story they have told with Freshly Squeezed has been fantastic and really shown what he can do as a title holder. And now with AEW All Out just hours away with his biggest challenger to date, let's look at who else can beat him. I'm CM-GRUNT, and this is 10 wrestlers who could dethrone Orange Cassidy. I've not been around as much as I would have liked to have been because life has been lifing at the moment, but if you've enjoyed the content so far, please leave a like, subscribe, and also leave a comment down below. Quick disclaimer, I've tried to keep this mostly AEW, and even though I wanted to add some NJPW guys in here, as it is an international title, I thought instead I'd try and keep it in-house in AEW. So here we go. Number 10, Will Ospreay. There's some people on this list that Orange Cassidy has not faced or had a feud with in AEW that I'm aware of. However, someone who's not even a part of AEW kicks off this list. Funny after I said that it's mostly AEW guys that I kick off this list with a British-born New Japan guy. Anyway, Will Ospreay, bruv. Amazing wrestler. These two had an amazing match at Forbidden Door 2022, and from what I remember, this was not supposed to be the match going into Forbidden Door. There was much more talk of Kenny Omega and people along that ilk that was being talked about, and in the end it was Orange Cassidy who was decided upon to be his opponent, and the match was fire. So why not revisit their match for the Intercontinental? I said Intercontinental. I told you life has been laughing. Why not revisit their match but for the international title and allow another Englishman from another company no less to dethrone him? They have had such great chemistry and the match is bound to be amazing. You know what? I'm gonna go and find that match right now. Excuse me. Number 9, any of the 4 pillars. Okay, so I could have padded out this list with each individual pillar, but there's so many AEW stars that I feel like I could get away with grouping some of them together. And with these guys, it makes sense. So let's run through some of these wrestlers and see why each of these guys could take the title. Let's start with the one pillar who has not won singles gold recognized by AEW, Jungle Boy Jack Perry. He has just lost the FTW title, a non-AEW sanctioned title to Hook. However, he hasn't won any of the 3 AEW belts on offer. And besides the Best Friends versus Jurassic Express, I don't believe these two have had interactions in the ring, so this could be a good first title for Jungle Jack. Darby, likewise, hasn't had many interactions with Orange Cassidy besides a few tag team matches and multi-man matches, some of which were against one of the other pillars. I don't believe that they have been rivals, and it would be interesting to do something different with Allen and let him pivot to the international title instead of the TNT and see if he can carry that title instead. Sammy is similar. He hasn't had many interactions with Orange Cassidy besides with the Inner Circle feuding with the Best Friends and the Jericho feud. And also like Darby, Sammy is more recognized with the TNT title. So again, maybe switch it up and let Sammy have a go with this title instead. Then you have the top pillar, the devil himself, MJF. And besides when they battled for the Diamond Ring, I cannot think of matches that they've had in the ring. But there's many routes you can go down. He could get jealous because of all the traction that the international title was getting and he wants the title. He could say that he wants all the gold, loads of ideas, and it would be interesting if he wins the belt and just doesn't defend it or even retires it. All the pillars would be interesting choices. Number 8, Swerve Strickland. When Swerve faced Orange Cassidy for the title, I legit thought that this was going to be a title change. Leading up to this match, it looked like he was going to lose. They were the last two in the Battle Royal, which Orange Cassidy survived it many times to cling to his title, which it looked like he wouldn't. Not only that, but during the match, the story told was that of desperation, when Orange Cassidy would essentially do anything to hold on to his title, and in the end, held on to the tights to retain. So what better way to have him lose than to repeat that match where it leads into his insecurities, or a reminder that he needs to resort to cheating to win, and then he loses to Swerve because this time it's just not enough. I think another match between these two would be great, to be honest. Whose house? Swerve. It's Swerve's house. I mean, come on, pay attention. Number 7, Pac. One of, if not the easiest suggestion on this list, one of the guys on this list that Orange Cassidy has got a lot of history with. Pac loathes Orange Cassidy. They have had many singles matches. They have feuded through Death Triangle versus the Best Friends, and of course it was Orange Cassidy who defeated Pac for the international title in the first place, when it was then known as the All Atlantic title. So Pac would definitely be an ideal candidate to win the belt back. He has never gone back in for it, and this would be ideal for him to be trying to get a rematch and trying to win the belt back. It would be interesting. I don't agree with the back and forth or the hot potato of titles, but it's not really a hot potato, as Orange Cassidy has held the belt for a while at this point. Revisiting this feud and these matches could be fun though. Seeing Pac get vexed at Orange Cassidy's antics would be hilarious, and honestly, it won't get old. Number 6, Hook. Send Hook. He was so over when he first started, and it was funny because Send Hook was just a meme at first, and not many people thought that he could be a star, and he felt like it was just gonna be mostly a comedy act from the company. But yet, years later, here we are, literally saying Send Hook with the hope of him actually coming to the ring to whoop someone. Another one on this list with minimal interactions with Orange Cassidy, and then also another one with no singles title to his name, as the FTW title does not count. I think the fun had in this match would be so high with the mannerisms of these two wrestlers, and Hook, one defeat aside, has a great record, so let him carry on the momentum with a win for this singles belt. Could go on a good run if they pull the trigger. Send Hook indeed. Number 5, Powerhouse Hobbs. Right, hear me out. Does anyone remember Powerhouse Hobbs being TNT champion? I'd be lying to you if I said that I forgot, but I only remember because I was so happy for him when he won, and was fuming when he lost because they just stat had him towards those title reigns. Now, if this belt is seen as 3rd in the standings of AEW singles titles, instead of letting Powerhouse Hobbs go for the TNT title, which evidently they don't see him as big a star as some of the wrestlers that they get to hold it, then why not give him a proper run with this title instead, and let him beat a few stars, maybe from New Japan, and build both his and the belt's credibility. I'm not too sure if these guys have had that many interactions, and Will's no-nonsense attitude with Orange Cassidy's lackadaisical approach would be good TV, and Powerhouse can go on to build himself from that. Plus, it gives him the rub to be a guy that's been clinging onto his title for a while now. So for me, it would be good. Number 4, either of the Lucha Bros. Like before, I could have freed up some space in the entries and made this a Death Triangle entry, so it frees up Pac, but it is what it is. Death Triangle have had wars in the past with the Best Friends. Honestly, this was initially only going to be Penta, but I felt like both needed to get a mention. But Penta definitely needed a shout, because like Swerve and Lance Archer, Orange Cassidy really had to dig deep to get the win here. The only real reason I never believed that Penta was winning was because the story between Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley was more captivating than Moxley's beef with Penta despite him injuring Rey Fenix. Speaking of Phoenix, damn great wrestler in his own right, but he has only had a freeway with Luchasaurus, who I may mention a bit later. He didn't have a one-on-one match, and I think it would have been cool to finally see either of the Lucha Bros hold singles gold. Number 3, Trent Beretta, one half of the Best Friends, and again, could have padded it out by adding Chuck Taylor, but I feel like at this time it makes more sense to just have the one member of the faction. Trent is the one who is seemingly the better single star, the one who gets pushed more, but the main reason why I've chosen Trent over Chuck or the team as a whole is the fact that Trent has had issues with Orange Cassidy when Wheeler Yuta was moving crazy and wanted to join the BCC, which I believe led to their title match in the first place. Orange Cassidy obviously retained against Trent, but this will be an interesting feud to revisit, especially if Trent are all embroiled in a feud with the BCC. Then Trent, like a lot of these people on this list, could win their first singles title. Having said that, there's a couple spicy takes left on this list, one of which might be a bit of a shock, the other probably not so much. The shock pick is number 2, Christian Cage. Yep, I said Christian Cage. I've enjoyed his work ever since he turned heel. I've always loved him as a heel. And not only that, but I'm loving what he's doing with the TNT title right now. Imagine Luchasaurus loses the TNT title, then he's the one who wins the international title, only for Christian to act like he is now, as though he is the champion. Or he wins the title while Luchasaurus is still holding the TNT title, but he claims to be a double champion. Or even Luchasaurus is still TNT champ and wins the international title, and again Christian says I won both belts. It would be so compelling and fun TV, I'm not gonna lie. Christian wants gold, and his heel antics results in him becoming champion would be both hilarious and good television. Right, there's so many stars we could have selected for this list, so before the number one entry, I just want to go through some honourable mentions. Wardlow, he could have a run with this belt instead of the TNT title, as this is currently looking like the secondary title, which I'll get into in a bit. The Elite, specifically Kenny Omega and Hangman Adam Page, having a top star like either of these two hold the belt can only add to the prestige of the belt, which we're already seeing with Moxley. Keith Lee deserves to hold single gold and has just gone missing from AEW TV, it seems. House of Black, any of them really, but he's already beat Buddy Matthews, so letting Malachi Black or even Brody King hold gold and just be dominant would be fun to watch. Lance Archer, again, the only person that he had to beat via count out, so it makes sense that he would be the one to potentially dethrone him. Miro, thought about adding him to the list, but I'd prefer to see Miro have another run with the TNT title, so I left him off. But a run with this belt would be so fun. Andrade, he's yet to win any AEW recognized gold, so this would be a nice start for this title. Edge, outlandish choice, I know, but there's been rumors about him potentially joining AEW, so having him surprise everyone and win the belt, then maybe go on to feud with Christian, I would definitely watch that. But there's only one choice in my opinion that could be number one, and that is number one, Jon Moxley. As of this writing, Jon Moxley is going to challenge Orange Cassidy for the international title at All Out in a few hours, or the match has already happened at the point of this video going out, in which case congrats Moxley on winning the title and adding even more credibility to the title that Orange Cassidy has helped to make very credible. Or well done Orange Cassidy on retaining against arguably the toughest wrestler and therefore the biggest star you have faced today. This is looking like a Moxley win in my opinion. It's been built up for weeks, so I think that we all kind of knew this match was happening, and I think most of us believed that Mox was winning. But after Orange Cassidy's promo on the Go Home show of Dynamite, something he does not do like ever, I feel like it would actually not be too crazy if he retained, and I welcome it. The wrestler who rarely tries and who barely shows he cares is caring and trying in his biggest title defense today. I could have gone with Utah, who he has defended against and beaten twice and he has history with, or Bryan Danielson, who is another top star who rarely loses and is seen as the best wrestler, so he could have been the guy once he returned from injury. Plus he complains about all these guys not being real wrestlers or being amateurs, and Orange Cassidy being a comedy act would rub him up the wrong way, so it makes sense. But as this match is happening, or happened depending on when this video is released, and this is the match that has been built for the past month, therefore felt like I should be going with Mox. There's lots of routes that they can go down if Mox wins, like a feud with the Elite again or Eddie Kingston, but I don't know where they go if Orange Cassidy retains. However, Orange Cassidy retaining would be great, specifically for his credibility and for his big match feel, being able to knock off Mox. I do think that Mox is leaving All Out with the win, and although Orange Cassidy has really helped push this title, Mox winning really will elevate it as well. And that's the end of the list. I'm 1000% sure that I've overrun. Checks time. Yep, I've overrun. Shaking my head. Anyway, let me know who you think should or will take the title of Orange Cassidy. Leave a comment down below, like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in a bit.